What's good, guys? So I'm here with my boy Dylan, and we're gonna go through this rogue deck that came out during the pandemic. It never really saw that much play, but it's a cool deck, and specifically recently, now that we're waiting for a ban list, I want to showcase some of the rogue deck that we choose to play. I'll let Dylan do most of the talking for this.
How's it going, guys? So, honestly, I'm just gonna get straight to it. But we're gonna just you play standard Ash. Um,
Yep.
Rashka is a new card that just came out and goes to the past.
What does
And
it do? You gotta tell me. I actually
yeah,
don't know what it does.
okay. Well, when it's normal summoned, your opponent gains 500 life points, and you can basically can pick the top three cards of your deck, and they choose one of them to add
Oh,
to your
you
hand.
add. Okay.
Yeah. So even though the opponent's choosing the card, it's still giving you an added card, and this
And
deck is playing to be as consistent as possible.
and with a bunch
And
of traps. What if you just show three traps? That's it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
They're
This is
stuck to
definitely.
giving me like some broken cards.
I'm definitely thinking this is like a slower control deck.
The only bad possibility the only bad like reveal would obviously be one of the charmer monsters, but I choose to only play three because I really don't you really don't want to see those. You want to play more than one or two just because like you want to be able to trigger
You add them, right?
yeah, you add them with your trap cards.
Okay.
And your spell cards.
And then the other fairy tale.
Luna adds any 1850 attack. Everything's 1850. It's consistent. It adds itself on top of it, and it's a during the player's turn like bounce.
People underestimate the effect.
No,
Honestly.
bouncing is very like important for format. I think most monsters when they're banished or even sent to the graveyard, their effects trigger,
Yeah.
and I rarely you'll see cards trigger when they leave the field. So
You know one thing I really like about Luna when Luna starts using the effect to bounce on extra deck monsters because usually they don't
Yeah,
have
that's what
extra ones.
yeah,
like
that's what I'm
it-
trying to say.
Yeah, like literally you just drain them of the extra deck. I think that's really cool. And then the three charmers
yeah, I played the light one because there's a new Link 2 light charmer, and
from
that
Lightning Overdrive.
honestly like there's a lot of broken light monsters, and you're more than likely gonna summon the light one more than any of the other charmers, hands down.
and then the water one.
I play the water one because I'm
Might
just
come up.
guessing maybe some water decks might be relevant.
So you just pick these
and-
based on the attribute.
Well, fire is important because Ash is 100% in every deck, and you'll always guarantee usually to summon Hida just to like link to summon their Ash, and you want to link climb into your access code to usually break boards or something like that.
Okay. You wouldn't play more, right? Because actually drawing these are kind of bad.
Yeah, you really don't want to open up with them, but if you open up with one, it's not the end of the world, especially you open up with Spirit Charmers.
Okay. And then the spells called by.
One call by.
Yeah.
Pod Duality is literally just a underrated pod card. Not a lot of decks can play it because like you restricts you from special summoning, but you literally don't special summon. And if anything, the trap card lets you special summon on the opponent's turn, so it doesn't even matter.
Okay. And then the three pot of prosperity.
Yeah,
It's just a better duality.
Better duality. You're gonna choose the best card to add to your deck from deck to hand.
You can trigger both, right?
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah,
you're not
that's crazy.
restricted. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then the fairy. I've never seen
So
this
this is
card.
another from Ghost of the Past. I only like it at one right now. It's not
Mandatory.
It's not definitely mandatory, but it does put extra bodies on the field. You reveal a spellcaster with 1850 in your hand, and you get to normal summon an 1850 from your hand. That's different. That's a different name than the monsters you control.
so can like this one can lead to the Luna.
You could normal summon Luna, then use Fairy Tale to obviously add Rashka or like Hida, whatever, or any of the charmers, and like normal summon it.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then Spirit Charmers.
This is what brings the deck together. Actually, it's
This is one of the broken cards from the deck, right?
It literally searches your deck. Like the whole theme of it. It's a discard one. It's a discard one, add two. So it adds
Anything, just
It does more than that. You can either add a charmer or one of the charmer spell and traps that are familiar possessed, or the charmer name, and you can either set one on field and add one to hand, and you can do it vice versa. You could add a spell or trap to hand and set a monster, or you could set a spell, set a trap, set a spell, and then add the vice versa one to your hand. So
definitely one of the strongest cards in the deck.
yeah, you need it. It literally, like I said, puts it all together. You play Awakening of the Possessed, so literally this is like your beatdown card. This is the one you're gonna be searching.
Because this is a slower stun-based deck. The games are gonna be a little bit longer, and you're gonna grind with them.
You're literally stunning the opponent, and then you're gonna buff up your Charmer monsters by 300 points for each different attribute, and you can activate multiples of Awakening of the Possessed to stack the attack bonus. So if you have two Awakening of the Possessed and you have two monsters with different attributes, they're gaining 1200 attack. not
and
just six.
and it has that. I read the rest. It's a draw effect too.
Well, yeah. Well, this card. That's why this card's insane too. First of all, second effect, it protects your charmers from being destroyed by card
shit.
effect, and then the third effect is when a spellcaster with 1850 is being normal summoned or special summoned to your field, you draw a card. And like I said, you special summon on the opponent's turn, you get an additional draw. Like this deck, like kind of like rebuilds its resource off of this card as well.
And then the triple cosmic. I believe is a flex spot.
It's flexible, and the reason why I choose Cosmic over another hand trap right now is because first, like this deck kind of loses to another stun deck. Like that's its only issue, because like if you can't stun another stun deck, so you have to
The traps become a lot.
And
useless.
I think Cosmic's like a lot more flexible than like is like the most flexible spell and trap.
Yeah,
removal.
no, it's definitely one of those cards you put in these spots.
And obviously banishing the spell and traps is good. Like
against Eldritch.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, usually even the Shadalls like
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
invoked.
And then this trap card. I think this is the
So
last.
yeah,
yeah.
so you don't want to play 3 of this. You could play 3, but I'm only choosing to play 2 because I don't want to open up with it. I more likely want to search it. And,
with the spell, the quick play spell.
With the discard 1, add 2, and basically what it does is it special summons a spellcaster with 1500 defense from your hand or graveyard, and the charmer monsters are the ones that have 1500 defense, not your fairy tales, but obviously you're either using Luna to search maybe a Hida, or you're using your spirit charmer effect to search either one of the charmers. And,
Whatever piece you're missing.
Whatever piece you're missing, essentially. Yep. And that's why I choose to only play 2, because you don't want to, like, if you open up with this and you don't have a 1500 defense monster in your hand, then, like, it's a brick.
Yeah.
So,
then the hard traps of choice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this can change around too.
Yeah, you can fit whatever traps you obviously want. But
IDP, things like that, more floodgates.
Yeah. But strike.
Yeah, these are
hits
generic
most cards of the format. You know, Judgment will protect you from their spell and trap removals. They're evenly matched, whatever. Like
Summon
Judgment's
limit.
insane. Literally, you don't lose with it.
Yeah.
And Summon Limit,
FTK.
they're literally the best card because you don't ever go over either you never go over 2 summons unless you're really trying to go to access code. That's the only downfall if like you really were looking forward to doing access code.
But I think
like,
if summon limit resolving means it's the game.
But like
over.
summon limit usually stops the opponent
and I think
from
it's the
doing
same thing
most.
for skill drain, right?
And
if you resolve this, it's probably game over.
Yeah, like I said,
deck,
this deck literally does its stuns. It's gonna and like you don't rely on like your monster effects. Luna's the best card, but like that's obviously your only monster effect besides Rishka 2. But like I said, they all gain attack bonuses with the spell, and this deck's really just beat down.
Yeah, very old school. Yeah. And then the extra deck. Let's
my
go through
extra
that
deck
really
of
quick.
choice. When you have the options, you can do rank 4. So Abyss Dweller, Boguska, Steel Swarm Roach, Exciton Knight, Double A Zeus. If you go to the battle phase, Tornado Dragon. The link monsters I think are more important. So you play your access code talker, and basically all your charmer monsters, you're gonna try to trigger those effects to special summon from your opponent's graveyard. Link climb into
this one
into
yeah.
the Selene Queen
I was
of
just like, how are you
Magicians.
getting to this? And that makes sense.
Yeah, and usually you want to like obviously you do this play obviously when there's three or more spells in the graveyard. Because if you make that mistake where you don't actually have enough spells in the graveyard and you just think you can go access code, it's not going to work out.
But there's a lot of spells in this from what I think.
Well, yeah.
So I think usually you'll be set up for this. And then the nightmares, I think
you play generic nightmares and IP.
And then the cards themselves, the charmers.
Yeah.
The deck itself, yeah.
Literally just the light one's going to be insane. I'm telling you, it's going to summon literally every card in the format.
The light one's crazy. Mechaba, Lord, so many cool cards. Lancia, lots of cool cards to summon back.
Even Nibiru.
Shit, yeah.
So I think the light one's the most important. I think second most important is Hida, the Blaze.
Yeah, for sure.
The third one is always could be switched.
Yeah, water, wind, whichever one. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and earth, obviously.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So this is a rogue deck, obviously.
Yeah,
none of us are trying to say.
Like, no, this is like it's a fun rogue deck to play. Like,
for sure.
At very budget, obviously, and like, but it's like you can definitely sack with this deck, especially like you're setting up to go first.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people really didn't catch on to this deck because it dropped during pandemic era. It was one of the weaker decks. So yeah,
honestly, this deck like. I got it from an article, but like, it was more popular in the OCG for
Yeah,
for a
no,
brief
yeah,
time.
yeah, for sure.
But like it never did, obviously. Like
Okay.
not
Yeah.
enough players to obviously be a fan of the deck.
Yeah, for sure. I hope you guys like this deck profile. Thank you, Dylan, for this. And
You're
stay
welcome.
tuned for more. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace, guys.